I'm back at it again and working on my little sphere as it goes from the left side of the screen all the way over to my right side of the screen. This is what I got so far. Pretty straightforward, just kind of working on the movement as it goes up, and then I'll continue the arc as it goes down. And I'm ready to start adding some new keyframes into my animation. But as I stop here on frame 10, I'm getting a little confused. I have a big problem. If you look at the onion skinning, the ghosted preview frames of what's coming before the location of my playhead, that's the green one, and what's coming after, that's the blue one, or purple maybe, I'm certainly not seeing where the sphere started and where the sphere ends. I'm not seeing the keyframe on frame 1, and I'm definitely not seeing the keyframe on frame 24, which is way over here. What's the deal? Why is that? Why am I only seeing the frame immediately before frame 10, which would be frame 9? And why am I only seeing the keyframe immediately after on frame 11, or in this case, frame 12? Okay. Well, that has everything to do with the onion skinning properties. It's only going to show us a small range before and after of the keyframed drawings that we have in our timeline. Now, when I'm laying out complex animations like this, sometimes I want to see a little bit more than just one frame before and one frame after. Let me show you where to change that inside of your item properties. And it requires us to go over here into the right-hand side of the frame and choose this little object right here. This is the Object Data button. If we click on this bad boy, we're going to get a lot of information about all of the two-dimensional stroke object data that resides on this object. We'll go into the details of this later, but for today, I want you to focus on this onion skinning category of options down here at the bottom, because there's some cool things in here that we can change. Now, to immediately solve my problem, I want you to look at this keyframes before and keyframes after. Right now, it's only showing me one keyframe before the current location of my playhead. So I'm on frame 10. It's only showing me a ghosted preview of frame 8. I don't want that. I want to see 8, 6, and 1. Well, check it out. If I increase this value to, let's say, 3, or even 4 for that matter, now I can see, okay, the black one's frame 10, this one's frame 8, this one right here is frame number 6, and of course this one way over here is frame number 1. Now we can very clearly see the start, the current frame, but I have not seen the end of my animation over here. Well, luckily we'll do the same thing as we did before with the keyframes before. We'll change the keyframes after, or we'll increase that value a little bit to 4, and now we get to see the target, okay, which I find to be a really easy way of working. Over here on frame 1, though, again, we've run into that exact same problem. We're only seeing 4 keyframes after the current location of my playhead. So here's frame 6. This next sphere is frame 8. This one here is frame 10. And of course, this one here is lastly on frame 12. So 1, 2, 3, 4. What about good old frame or keyframe 24? Well, that one's still way out over there. And so you're more than welcome to increase this to whatever you want. Just be aware that the more frames that you're previewing, it might start to slow down your system a little bit. Luckily, the 2D animation engine's pretty good, but point being, anything over 10 or 12, you may get a little bit of a performance hit on your machine. I like having it to be a high value, especially when I'm doing the general block out of all of my animations, because now I can really see where I'm starting and where I'm ending, and where I need to place all the animation frames along this simple, lovely little arc to get the illusion that I'm after. These onion skinning options inside the object data category of options is just really good. In addition, you can also kind of play around with the opacity. Some folks like having the onion skinning way down low. Some people like to have it up pretty high. You get to customize this however you like. I want to put it right there in the middle, right where it was. We can also change what we're doing. We can do keyframes. We can also show just regular frames. So now it's showing me where the ball is on every single frame. More on that later. We can do something called tweening, which is automatically going to create an animation frame for us without a keyframe. More on that later on in the semester. But point being is that we can change what we're onion skinning by this little drop-down area right in here. You can also change the colors. However, I really wouldn't mess around with this too much. Green and blue, these are kind of industry standard colors. Green always represents the past, and this blue always represents the purple, always represents the future. So I wouldn't change around with this too much because you see this in a lot of other areas. But if another color works for you, as long as you're consistent and you know what it means, go ahead, change it. There's nothing that says that you can't. So these onion skinning options is going to help customize the animation experience to make it really clear and easy for you as the animator to understand how you're crafting your animation.